Hi everyone and welcome back to Evocative Scents. Now it's that specific time of the year when the temperatures are so high that most fragrances simply aren't going to last. And even if they do, they might be on the cloying side, especially in this sultry and humid weather. So for today's video, the performance of these fragrances won't be my top priority. Instead, it will be the refreshing and cooling factor. Perfumes that you will enjoy in this hot weather. So without any further delay, let's get this video started. Before I get into the main list, there are some of the fragrances which I had discussed earlier and you can still consider them. As you can see, the Paris Corner Amorist, it is loosely based upon the Bulgari Aqua Amara. Not exactly a blind buy worthy fragrance, but the refreshing bitter orange is just perfect for the summers. Just don't expect a lot of performance out of this one. Another popular fragrance that doesn't quite make the cut into a lot of my videos, it is the Ahmad Al Maghribi Blue. Very mass appealing fragrance, equally soothing and refreshing, just perfect for the summers. But honestly, I don't quite get the performance out of that one. It's roughly a 4-hour fragrance. But if you can get it for a good price, that's an excellent choice for formal and casual events. In the scorching heat at the end of the day, I won't be able to extract a lot of performance out of many fragrances. And that's the reason I recommend very light and refreshing fragrances in the hot and humid weather, where my focus is not on the performance. And that's exactly is what French Avenue Attar Extrait offers. Once again, it's a basically 3-hour fragrance with kind of a green apple shampoo vibe, and it also comes in an extremely beautiful bottle design. I just wish it had slightly better performance, then it would not have made into the honorable mention list. Now on to the fragrances that I have picked this year, and I shall begin with EM5 Ginger. In the opening, it is a very bright citrusy accord that feels zesty and quite invigorating, to be honest. There is touch of bitterness in here, and the citruses here doesn't float on the sweeter side. In this perfume, you are going to get that sharp, refreshing yet vibrantly spicy ginger. So if you don't like the sharpness, you can skip out on this one. And if you want a slightly mild ginger smell but way more long lasting, then check out the John Lowe Immortal from the Maison Alhambra. Now coming back to the EM5 Ginger, there is not a lot of things going in here, because once the citrus and ginger fade away, at the end you are just going to get a musky skin scent. Now moving on to an aquatic fragrance from the house of Ahmad Al Maghribi, and it's the Aqua Oud. Even before we get to the smell, just wanted to clear this one out. There is no oud in here. In fact, the smell will remind you of the Giorgio Armani Acqua di Gio Profumo, a fine discontinued fragrance that's still very popular. It kind of smells like salty sea breeze. There is touch of aromatic quality in here, little bit of spices, and of course lot of ambroxan in here. And all these aspects of this fragrance, and it will give you a beautiful blue experience. Now it's not all sunshine and rainbows here. The performance I am getting out of this one is kind of mixed bag here. While I am getting good longevity of around 6 to 7 hours, which is fine considering it is a fresh fragrance, the projection is where it lets me down. It comes too close to you after the first half an hour, or maybe maximum of 1 hour of projection, and then for rest of its life it will sit close to you. Having said that, it is extremely versatile and you can rock this fragrance to office or casual events equally well. Now moving on to the next fragrance, I am going to throw in a curveball here, because this one is very polarizing and smells synthetic as well. In fact, it is the most unnatural smelling fragrance on this list. But on the other hand, the Riffs Freeze is very strong in terms of performance. The longevity is easily 8+ hours, and the projection is also good for the first couple of hours. And there are very few fragrances that can achieve this sort of performance in this hot and humid weather. Now whether I love this fragrance or not, that's a totally different matter, and I'm unsure about that as well. While the opening feels kind of interesting and likable, the dry down is something I am not very fond of. In the opening, you will get light hint of citruses, noticeable yet not overpowering in nature, but there is certainly a strong minty note. Mostly I am getting spearmint kind of smell. And just like the name Freeze, it does carry a cooling effect in terms of smell. Now it's all well and good for the first half an hour to an hour, but after that it gets into the soapy territory. The thing is, it's not very pleasant kind of soapy smell. It smells more like a detergent rather than a beautiful aromatic soap. So this is not a cologne that I can recommend you to blind buy, but in terms of uniqueness, I do appreciate what this perfume brings onto the table. Now moving on to the other side of the spectrum, very pleasant smelling fragrances with not so great performance. And here I am clubbing 3 to 4 fragrances all into the same position. First of all, the Paris Corner Nord Stag Troy 3. You can pick either the green one or the orange one. Both equally refreshing and carry that photorealistic citrusy DNA. They smell very juicy and perfect for summer season. Especially the smell of orange and neroli are both very prominent. So if you love the smell of freshly squeezed orange juice, then these are the fragrances that you should definitely try or at least have in your bucket list. The Maison Alhambra Azure, it is also in the same space, sharing the same kind of juicy orange DNA. Just keep in mind that the performance of all of these fragrances are more or less the same. Maybe you could squeeze an R or two from any specific fragrance here and there, but more or less they are the same. Suitable for casual events, these perfumes are perfectly unisex. That touch of candied sweetness actually makes this perfume vastly interesting, helping them really shine through the hot summers. The next fragrance on this list is the Armaf Dunescape. While all the previously discussed citrusy fragrances were fantastic, they were certainly leaning towards the casual side. But the Dunescape changes the direction, making it a suitable candidate for formal events. Mind you, this one also retains the fresh citrusy opening, but in the dry down it is more aromatic, spicy, slightly woody with a hint of powderiness. I would not say it is a very special fragrance, but certainly a versatile one. The major flaw which I am finding with this fragrance is that it is one of the softer projecting fragrance in this list. While the longevity is pretty good, you can get about 6 to 7 hours. For a major part of its life, it's mostly a skin scent, or maybe slightly more. As an office fragrance, I would not want my perfume to be too loud, but a slight bit of projection will certainly help. Now moving on to another fantastic fragrance that has been released from the Rayhaan fragrances, it is the Aquatica. This cologne opens up with the smell of a freshly squeezed lime with a hint of coconut, giving it that tropical vibe and also with a good dose of sweetness. Perhaps the sweetest fragrance on this list. Now it does have elevated level of floral facets in this one, and that makes it a perfectly unisex smell. This sort of a fragrance I would highly recommend you during the vacation if you are basking in the sun near a sea beach and perfect for a coastal climate. Now I have done full reviews of many of these fragrances I have just mentioned, and if you are considering a full bottle, do check those videos out. Now moving on to a very underrated fragrance. It is from the house of Armaf. It is the Caveyo. Extremely beautiful and unique bottle design and a very safe and mass appealing fragrance. Now this perfume will smell like a lot of popular fragrances out there, and it is sort of a hybrid smell. Little bit of Bulgari Tiger with some aspects of Bleu de Senal, and you know which direction this fragrance is going in. The tried and tested citrus and ginger combination with little bit of sandalwood and ambroxan in a dry down. It's an absolutely beautiful fragrance that you simply can't go wrong with. Clean, fresh, extremely versatile, and you can wear it to any situation you could possibly imagine. Now it's a bit hard to find nowadays, but if you have the opportunity to try this one, I would highly recommend you to try this one out. Now another summer freshie that remains in the rotation for me, it is the Ahmad Al Maghribi Azure Royale. Although this perfume comes in a blue bottle, it's not a blue fragrance per se. In fact, it has a very fruity smell. There is good dose of citrus in here as well, but the real star is the pear note. Also, I find this one quite similar to the Ahmad Al Maghribi Zeleni, almost to the point that if you have either of these two fragrances, the other one is going to be redundant. The performance on this one is pretty good. You should be able to extract about 6 to 8 hours on clothes and decent projection for the first hour. This perfume also has good amount of sweetness in it, making it quite a choice for summer date nights. If you are finding this video of any value, please hit that like button and also consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so. Now, if you are looking for a fragrance in a very tight budget but you want to smell really good and refreshing, don't worry, the Rasasi Essential is just that. Although you will have to take a hit in terms of performance. And the easy solution, just refresh it. There is little bit of woodiness in the dry down and a very light hint of floral accords, and it's a bit hard to pinpoint any specific floral accord, but you will be able to notice it in the air. Now I wanted to cover a lot more fragrances in this video, but it might get a little bit too long. So let's finish up with the final fragrance. It is the Aromatics Platine Blanc. This one is getting really popular and for good reasons as well. It has a very smooth, creamy citrusy smell with the specific focus on the mint accord. It doesn't have any soapiness like the Freeze, nor does it have the prominent sweetness. It smells like a fizzy soda with lot of mint in it, and there is a touch of creaminess in the dry down. The performance has definitely moved in the right direction, and it certainly took a bit of time. Definitely check the full review of of this particular perfume, and if you are interested, I will cover up remaining fragrances in my next video. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. Any thoughts or feedback in your mind, don't hesitate to put them in the comment section down below. And finally, if you love fragrance related content like this, please hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the notification bell as well. And that's it for today's video. I will meet you all in my next video. Till then, stay safe and as always, stay honest.